They refused to respond to what was apparently a question from the special master about whether Donald Trump had declassified any of these documents before he left the presidency. They refused to answer any question about declassification, saying that that might become, quote, a defense to the merits of any subsequent indictment. So the Trump lawyers are already contemplating holding that information until Donald Trump is a criminal defendant in court.
Well, I think it's wise of them to be thinking down the road about what's going to happen when he's indicted. I would like to give them some advice, though, which is if they're holding as a defense that he declassified the documents, leaving aside that it's going to be, I think, far-fetched that that in fact happened, that is not a legal defense. The crimes that were listed in the search warrant do not require that the documents be classified or declassified. So that is not an actual legal defense. And to this day, 6 weeks to the date from learning about that search, we still have no answer whatsoever from Donald Trump as to what he was doing with these documents, why he took them, why he kept them, why he lied about it, and any legal or factual defense. And with respect to not answering the question from the special master, I mean, there is something incredibly ironic, given that this is the special master that Donald Trump chose. But this is the most logical question that you could imagine Judge Dearie asking, which is, hey, you want me to review documents that are marked classified. Are you saying they're declassified and thus should be returned to you? If you're not saying they're declassified, what relief are you asking for? So that is a totally logical question. It is the question that, of course, Judge Cannon should have been asking, but Judge Dearie is asking it. And if they don't answer it, it's pretty clear what he's going to do. He's going to say, well, look, if you're not making the argument that they're declassified, well, they're classified on their face. The government's telling me they're classified. It walks, talks, looks like a duck. There's an affidavit saying there's a duck, and you're not saying that it's not a duck. So guess what? They're classified.
And Bradley Moss, well, I'm struck by the fact that the Trump lawyers put this in this public filing because they didn't have to. They could have just waited till tomorrow at 2 p.m. and said all this to the judge, and we wouldn't know that in writing they are contemplating their client's indictment.
Yeah, well, you know, you get what you pay for and you get what you can when every competent and qualified lawyer who you'd expect to have in this situation wants nothing to do with you. But, you know, to follow up on what Andrew was saying, part of the reason Judge Dearie is doing this is because I'm sure he saw what he was given as orders from Judge Cannon. He looked at the filing and said, enough is enough. I'm not dancing around this. It's really simple. Either you've got the evidence or you don't. If you don't have the affidavits to show that this stuff was declassified, then you're either going to show that there is executive privilege and there's no possessory interest, or you're going to say you brought it, you made a personal record, you brought it home without declassifying it, which is ridiculous. So, you know, shut up, essentially where they're going.
And Andrew, quickly before we go, Justice Department filed their appeal Friday night about 9 p.m. In less than 24 hours, the appeals court ordered the Trump lawyers to have their response ready by Tuesday at 12 noon. This seems like the appeals court is taking the case seriously and moving quickly.
Absolutely. It doesn't tell you which way they're going to go. It obviously is not a good look that you have the Trump letter to Judge Dearie saying we're not even going to tell you whether we declassified it. That has been a key point that the government has been making over and over again. So that certainly doesn't look like good faith. So I'm sure this is something that the government is looking at very carefully, and we'll see what happens. I'm pretty sure that the 11th Circuit, whichever they rule, I think we're going to hear very quickly.
Andrew Weissman and Bradley Moss, thank you once again for guiding us through another breaking news night in the case of Donald J. Trump versus United States of America. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And coming up, Donald Trump's threat